We all have heard the expression that you get what you pay for, and I have a really good example in the cruise world of why you will want to perhaps spend a little bit more for your next cruise vacation. Let's dive in. Hello friends, my name is Alana Zingano from Travel the World A to Z. Thank you so much for joining today's video. I'm excited to share how a new dining experience can make you feel incredibly special. It is so much fun. We're gonna dive into the details, but first, if you're new, go ahead. If you like these types of videos of cruise, travel tips, things of that sort, start off the new year right by hitting the thumbs up button and go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Do me a solid and let's get into sharing some of these exclusive dining experiences that you won't want to miss on your next Princess cruise. A brand new experience on board Princess Cruises' brand new ship. It makes sense that it's debuting on the Discovery Princess here. This is the newest ship in the fleet with a brand new experience. Just a little while ago, I had the opportunity to fly out to Los Angeles, where the ship is home ported in San Pedro, California, getting to experience the 360 dining experience. It's a whole encompassing experiences, all of your senses. We're going to dive into the who, what, when, where, why, essentially, of the entire experience here because it was such a secret before it was released. I have to give the snaps to Princess Cruises here because they kept us on our toes. Of course, I had my suspicions on what this experience was going to be like. In every news brief that they would debut, a little bit of a teaser here, but I have to say I was wrong. I'll openly admit it. I did not know what to expect. Well, I thought I knew what to expect, but I was wrong. So let's dive in here. So this is a brand new dining concept on Discovery Princess, and it will soon be released out onto another ship with Princess Cruises out of the home port of Fort Lauderdale in Florida. And of course, I'm talking about the Enchanted Princess, which is also a newer ship with the Princess Cruises fleet. Now, like many specialty dinings on board, they have to go through reservations to get yourself into the restaurant here. But this one's a little bit different for this type of specialty dining on this cruise is that it actually is only available for suite guests and VIP casino players. So that is where if you spend a little bit more, you're gonna be getting more on your cruise vacation. But here's the kicker, you have to be invited. So it's pretty much guaranteed though if you are booking a suite. Mind you, junior suites do not include into this, but if you book a regular suite for your cruise vacation on the Discovery Princess or soon to be Enchanted Princess, you'll get an opportunity to be invited to the 360 dining experience. And the other thing is, if you are a VIP in the casino, you likely already know that you are, depending on all the type of casino offers that you get. There's usually a certain threshold of money that you have to spend and earn in the casino to catch Princess Cruises' attention. So what is the cost for this specialty dining experience? Here's the kicker. It's complimentary. Bet you didn't expect that one, did you? That's right, you heard me correct. This complimentary experience is so exclusive that it's only open to 2 different groups of people right now on your cruise, and they're giving it away for free. What an awesome bonus here. You know, at the time of filming, it's complimentary. In the future, we may see this change. Throughout the experience, it's approximately 2 hours long. It's really lavish. We're gonna get into the nitty-gritty details, but I wanted to give you the scope of it before we dived in too deep, so you understand what it's really like. There are 2 seatings for this specialty experience here, except for on embarkation day. That's when there's just 1 dining experience. The experience itself is filled to the brim with so many interactive and very special moments, so much so that it starts right off when you arrive on the ship and you head to this dining. It's in a secret location. Undisclosed. Very, very cool. I actually loved this. You start off in a staging area, so that is public knowledge. You head off in one area, have a little bit of some welcome cocktails, what I got to experience as well during this, and take some photos. You're gonna wanna take photos here with the 360 backdrop and enjoy, because after this moment, they ask you to turn off your phones. Can you believe it? A vlogger went to a cruise event and I wasn't able to take my own photos. So, side note, All of these photos here that you see are either stock images or pictures from other cruises with Princess that I've been on. So just so you know, pictures of food and things of that sort are all inspiration of what I actually saw. And I'm actually going off of some notes of the very detailed notes that I took throughout the experience so I could tell you as much as possible about it without having my vlogging and camera equipment with me during this experience. Once you walk into the secret location, you're seated and you are having dinner with approximately 20 other guests. That's the capacity that this room will hold. And it's 2 different tables kind of in a circular shape. And behind you are giant LED screens that fill the entire 360 room here. It's a circle, so really, really cool. What illuminates across the LED screens throughout the entire experience is a culinary journey and a story told by a well-known actress. I have a couple of recommendations if you are traveling with your family, extended family, whomever on this Princess cruise here. I would just make some suggestions here that I don't think this experience is appropriate for the youngest cruisers, again, because it is 2 hours long, approximately. It's something that is supposed to be like very savored and enjoyed the entire experience. I can't really recommend it because it is quite long and it's a culinary journey, right? There's a lot of little details that you want to experience every little bit. I wouldn't want to miss any of those details attending to my own adolescent daughter or imagining having her tablet up on the table. So that would kind of just take away from some of the story and the conversation that is told throughout. With that being said, it is an interactive dining experience here that encompasses all of your senses here. So throughout the experience, you will want to know that you're encouraged to tap on the table itself. Parts of it will come to life, whether it's the flag of the country that you're visiting. That was a spoiler. We're visiting multiple different countries throughout this, but it will see different changing depending on the scenery, and it becomes interactive in that sense. All of our senses, from the smells that we smell, the sounds and the music, and that will kind of lead us into our first country of the experience, which is Greece. I have to say, I was really inspired going on this culinary journey here. As we traveled throughout the Mediterranean, I wanted to pivot this ship right to the Med and go cruising on all the beautiful different countries and destinations that we traveled to, because I left so inspired with a very full belly. Let's dive in to Greece here. I learned a lot throughout this experience, which is always so cool because I'm such a nerd. I love to learn all about travel, different cultures, food, wine. It is so much fun for me. One thing in particular that I did learn is that some of the oldest olive trees actually are from Greece. Did you know that? Let me know in the comments down below. Maybe that's general knowledge, but I did not know that. Once we sat down, we found out that we were going to have a plated dinner service here. It's a menu that is set. So if you have dining allergies or food allergies or any type of dietary needs, that's something that you might want to consider going into this experience. They did make alterations for those who have food allergies or if you are a vegetarian. If you're gluten-free though, I wouldn't necessarily recommend this experience for you because you might not be able to experience as much as someone else. And they did make substitutes for those who didn't drink as well, because there's a lot of wine and drink pairing with each plate. Going into such an elaborate experience, I want everyone to experience it at its full and for everything that it's worth here. So one of our very first things that were presented to us were the Greek finger food. So we had a plate full of olives and actually octopus as well. Would you try this? So this is where we saw the scenery on the screen of all of Greece. The beautiful blue zone actually. And this is where I'm gonna start referencing some of my notes here so I can give you the most depictive descriptions of everything that we saw. So not only did we have the Greek music, but we also had a Greek drink. I believe this was a traditional Greek ouzo, which is quite strong. But with that, we kind of headed off to the Amalfi Coast. We were headed to Italy. That was our second country. And as I mentioned, I can be a little bit of a studious person myself, so I enjoyed one of the quotes that was, "Study the past to imagine the future." How beautiful, right? We head over to Mount Vesuvius. From there, our second antipasto, if you will, was buffalo mozzarella with heirloom tomatoes. My goodness, absolutely delicious. I'm a big cheese fan, so anything buffalo mozzarella was scrumptious, scrumptious, scrumptious. And a really big plate of it, mind you. You shared it with a whole bunch of people at the table, but it was all for one. Everybody got one. The wine pairing with this was incredible here, and I actually learned another thing about some Latin. Now, for those who speak multiple languages, you might know this, but this name of this wine actually translates to Tears of Christ. Really incredible backstory here about this wine. It's a typical Italian dry wine. I really enjoyed it. It's young and sweet as described in flavor. And get this, it's only available on the ship for the 360 experience. I would love for some of these wines to actually be able to buy them as like an extension of the duty-free on board, because this wine, along with another we'll hear about in a minute, was so good and so cool and so exclusive just to that experience. So I would love to take a bottle home. With the descriptive storytelling on the LED screens, we learned about the winery that this came from. And I have to say, it's all a very romantic storytelling. It's not like a school educational, formal, tight fitting. It's very luxurious, romantic, seeing the beautiful scenery and just learning as you're enjoying every bit of the food and the wine pairings. So Amalfi is famous for two things. Do you know what they are? As the people themselves say, it's them, the people of Amalfi, and lemons. Now this is where I had some predictive elements just while I was in this dining experience that I thought our next drink was going to be limoncello, but I actually was wrong in that as well. But the next experience or plated food here was nearly my entire favorite of the entire meal. I had this idea because there was a sense of lemon being piped through. It was really fresh and really just awakening our senses for what was to come. Another quote that I really loved is that food is an expansion of love. And if Italians love food, then I'm gonna say that's accurate. On the wall of the LED screen as well of my next favorite, almost favorite dish here, maybe they're at a tie, but there was their recipe. I tried to write it down as fast as I could. I'll have to share some of the elements here. Perhaps you've had this before, but it's a lemon pasta. This lemon pasta had such a brilliant taste. Having visited Italy before, I've never had a lemon pasta before, and I'm actually Italian, so I don't know what happened here, but this is the first time I've experienced it, and mind blown. I'm gonna go look up another recipe here to make this at home sometime because it was that good. And I might go ahead and pair it with a little bit of limoncello as well. Next, we're moving across the Mediterranean Sea, traveling through the Adriatic, and now we're headed to Spain. This was really cool actually because in some of the imagery that they shared, we saw other princess ships. So of course I wanted to transport myself on board and see this experience full. I think a Mediterranean cruise is gonna have to be in my future 2023. Give it to me. Let's go, let's manifest that. Are you with me? Maybe a group cruise. That would be fun. Let me know if you think that's a good idea. But off to Spain we go for our third country. Now, given the time that I experienced this, I was thinking about Christmas presents, gifts for people, and I thought this next wine would have made the most perfect gift. Introducing Elixir wine. This is an underwater wine, and I've never heard of anything like this before. I thought it was absolutely such a fun idea. It has the fruit of a very strong wine, very bold in flavor, and this is where another one of the quotes just left me thinking how incredible this experience was. Someone from the winery was explaining on the screen what it was like with a body of an old person, but the mind of a 20-year-old. I think we can all imagine someone in our life who is just like that, really young at heart, and that's this wine. It's a Grenache wine, if you've heard of that before, and I will make no statement that I am any type of wine connoisseur. This was all very new to me here, and just thankful for my notes to explain all of this. But it's the type of wine that has had a hard life. Who knew wines could have hard lives? I didn't. But I thought that was really interesting. So it's off the Costa Brava, Spain here, and it's aged in the ocean, in the sea, for 6 months. Now that's a really short amount of time for a wine to age, but it's amplified because of the entire process. There's so much character itself to the bottle. The winery itself puts the bottles under the ocean in these cages, and then when they pull it out after 6 months, the bottle has so much character, so much attached to it with the sea life, and the wax seal itself is thick enough to withstand the pressure from being underwater. So because this is off of the Costa Brava, Spain, it's rougher seas and conditions in the sense so that the bottles are shaken and rocked back and forth and accompanied with the dark elements and the cold of being underwater. These are the type of mixtures of all the different things that make this wine the distinct characters that it has. Here's the other thing that I learned from the waiters is that this bottle is also only exclusive to the 360 dining experience, and that's why I wanted to take some home. It was so cool. But it is about $100 a bottle as well. So that's where also it's a bit pricey. Everything that we've had throughout the entire 360 dining experience is incredibly elevated and pricey wines and elevated delicious foods that you're not getting elsewhere throughout the ship. So that's where opening your wallet to being in a suite or spending more in the casino is gonna pay you back in full because you're experiencing some exquisite food and wine. Here's another little fun fact about the wine is that it was actually opened before we even got on board. Who knew that this wine needed 24 hours to aerate? Throughout a little bit of research, I found out that it's actually kind of difficult to get here in the US because this wine is particularly made for the European market. So I don't think we'll find it in our local wine stores down the road, but they do have the website that you can check it all out in case you are open to some shipping costs. Heading next to Barcelona, a cruise capital, mind you. So many different Mediterranean cruises start out of Barcelona. If you've been, let me know. The next stage, we learned all about truffles and actually visited a truffle farm. How incredible. I've heard of truffles before. I think I've had them as well throughout different type of recipes, but I had no previous knowledge. A little bit of foodie in that I enjoy food, but I did not know the ins and depths out of how cool this was. There's a dog that helps on the farm dig out the truffles and find them throughout. Really neat. And then we also had some delicious beef tenderloin. From there, let's talk about our next and last country is France. At this point, we're getting quite full, and I didn't know how many courses there was going to be. I wanted to finish every last bite as much as I could of the beef, but I had to stop myself because I knew more was coming. Whew. This is where you're gonna think you wish you packed some stretchy pants. Piping through in this section of the dining experience, we had aromas of lavender. How relaxing, but who knew lavender and food would go so perfectly together? So there's not only lavender scents, but also lavender flavor as well. Really, really nice. We learned about the lavender fields in the south of France. So not only did I not know, again, another learning moment here, but honey and lavender often pair so well together, and they have a really important role as like the harvest of honey and the harvest of the lavender in a sense, going side by side. The honey is mild and not very sweet because of the nectar from the lavender that the bees get. Incredible. This is where the food really got somewhat earthy in my opinion here, because we had honeycomb lavender dessert here. It's somewhat of a parfait, but it's not in the parfait in the sense of where you get it in a glass. It was almost like a gelatin mold and purple because of lavender. You would dive into it and there's a honeycomb in the bottom. It was just incredible. The plate was decorated as well. They're little pieces of like sugar honey molds and just the attention to detail. So this made it my absolute favorite dish. Scrumptious. I could eat a couple of these. Really, really tasty. And that's why the pasta is my second. But fantastic. And lastly, for this experience, toasting off the entire trip here of traveling across the Mediterranean to different cultures and different countries, exploring the cultures, we had a champagne toast. And of course, we had to travel to Champagne, France. Did you know that champagne actually has to come from Champagne, France to call it that? Kind of cool. Some of you wine connoisseurs might already know that in a sense, but absolutely fabulous. So my whole experience on 360 was really, really cool. A couple things that came up throughout the experience, thinking about it and recapping it. I'm so glad I took all these thorough notes so I could recap the experience to you, because my goodness, with all of this eating and drinking, I was a happy gal leaving the ship for this experience here. And if you're curious more about the Discovery Princess as well, where this experience is currently offered and soon to be experienced on the Enchanted Princess, don't worry, I got you covered. You can check out the entire playlist for more on the ship itself, as I have experienced quite a bit with cruises, the naming ceremony, so much with this brand new cruise ship. Now, a couple other additional thoughts on this experience here as well. I was asked if I thought that I would enjoy this experience multiple times over. I think I would definitely enjoy it multiple times over, but I would love to experience it with different people each time. I would definitely welcome the experience back, considering it's a complimentary experience. So who's gonna turn down wine from the Tears of the Gods? I mean, like, come on, so amazing. And also underwater winery, what? All this was mind-blowing. I would definitely want to do it again. But once it becomes paid, if it does ever become paid, that's where I might actually retract a little bit. But here's where I think it gets a little bit interesting as well. There's so many opportunities of where this could go. The world is so vast, and this is just the Mediterranean. Catch my drift? This experience could totally be done elsewhere in the world. If they want to do an Asian one, if they want to do one, you know, off of any incredible region of the world, here's my new world map. We could just go right here on my new notebook and pick, you know, a South American one. You know, that's my point, is that this option is that they can see it through and then launch a new city and a new whole experience. So this is where I think it's going to be, just my little prediction, it's probably going to be a complimentary experience until they launch the next one, or for a limited time. I hope you guys get the chance to experience it here because it is so amazing, honestly, and so exclusive. So I hope you guys enjoyed the recap. I hope you didn't mind that it was all from my memory and not the actual pictures of the food, but I wanted to respect Princess's wishes of, you know, not capturing everything, because we gotta leave a little something to the imagination. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to check out this video right here if you want to see even more from the Discovery Princess. Be sure to like the video. Until next time, ciao for now.